Hello everyone, this is Andres Restart, and this time we are talking about a new rumor for 3 epic Nintendo Directs, 2 of which are supposed to happen in this upcoming month of September, and the next we presume to happen shortly afterwards. Some of this has to do with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, a lot of this has to do with what we believe to be a general Nintendo Direct, where a variety of things we need to know about the rest of this year will be announced, and some of this also has to do with Mario's 40th anniversary. And what's extra interesting about this overall rumor is that it came out before Nintendo just announced this new line last night. The My Mario line, which as you see from this picture here, it's a whole bunch of different things. It's apps, little toys and dishes, picture books, clothing, a whole bunch of things geared towards children. And so as we scroll through the website here, you see a picture book, the app, clothes, a doll, this little block set here, and this is the whole block set right here. You can see that, the picture book, the app. Here's the app in motion. It's reminding a lot of people of Mario 64's start screen. But all this stuff is geared towards children. They do also have a stop motion animation series that's coming as well. Now, all of this stuff is going to be coming out on August 26th. It will be made available at the Nintendo stores of Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. It is noted here at the bottom that they will be releasing more overseas in 2026, some My Mario products, not all. And so what this tells us is that this is a small scale push here. This is not a big deal release, but it is something they're putting out there. And what's interesting about it is that it is, in my opinion, perhaps a little bit of evidence of a big Mario 40th anniversary push. This is not something Nintendo would save for a big 40th anniversary direct. It is coming out before September, the anniversary month of Mario, but it is perhaps some evidence of Nintendo planning an overall big product push for Mario for the 40th anniversary, and this is just a little bit of it. A week or so ago we talked about how there are some clothing lines that look to be starting up some Mario merchandise soon as well for this year, the 40th anniversary, which is not normally done. And so now, as we draw ever closer to September, the Mario anniversary month, a little bit more evidence is starting to pop up that there may indeed be some legitimate 40th anniversary celebration plans, which, as we've talked about in various videos, Nintendo puts out a big celebration every 5 years. They had a huge one back in 2020 for the 35th anniversary, including a 35th anniversary Mario Direct in September where a lot of games were announced. And so we're kind of thinking something like that is going to happen this time around as well for this month of September, and that may even include a game for September, just like how they did it back in 2020 with the Super Mario 3D All-Stars announcement, where it came out just a few weeks later, still in the month of September. Which brings us to this new rumor. This rumor is coming from Nash Weedle, who put out a video on YouTube, and we'll be talking about the elements of that video in a moment here, but he's saying that there will be 2 Nintendo Directs in September. Now, I do see a lot of pushback when it comes to conversations on Nash Weedle, so I did decide to put together a little bit of a document here, just to kind of show some of the recent notable leaks and rumors from Nash Weedle that have been proven true, and there's more out there. I just put this together now, but I figured I should start collecting it all into one place, so whenever we do mention these different leakers that supposedly have a good track record, you can all see it in one page. And so if you see something that's missing here that I should note, please let me know, and I'll keep that in mind. I'll be updating these lists as time goes on. But as you see, yes, there's a variety of things that are recent, that are all this year, that Nash Weedle has been correct on. Switch 2 editions, Elden Ring Tarsh edition, a free edition of No Man's Sky, Prime 4 mouse controls, Donkey Kong Set of 3 Mario, and the Switch 2 Direct back in April. The Direct happening on July 31st. I put an asterisk there because before he heard about July 31st, he had multiple sources. They were saying conflicting things. Some sources suggesting a Direct in early July, others saying in the last week of July, which was true. And other things he said that haven't been fully proven yet but seem likely to be real: Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has been rated, and a port of Sea of Thieves, which has been teased by the official Sea of Thieves account, all for Switch 2. That's what I'm referring to here. And so I do believe Nash Weedle has a pretty good track record that absolutely makes these conversations worth having. And so what did Nash Weedle say in his video they posted on YouTube? Well, it was a more put together video, well edited, some nice cinematics there, very cool little short he put there. And it's in Spanish, so I'll provide you a rough translation understanding of what was said. So basically, Direct rumors are coming back, and there's going to be 2 Nintendo Directs in September. One of those will be focused on Mario's 40th anniversary. They will be talking about the next Mario movie, they will be talking about Super Nintendo World, and they will be talking about a game for the 40th anniversary. What might that be? Is it a Switch 2 edition of Mario Wonder? Is it Super Mario Galaxy 2 Remastered? Is it something else? There are certainly possibilities, but this is part of the rumor. But that's not the only Direct. There's going to be another Direct in September. This Direct will feature third parties, and this time they'll be coming in at full force. But it's not going to be just about third parties. We'll be getting our release date for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, so this suggests it's not going to be just another partner showcase, but a little bit of a bigger Nintendo Direct. A general, I guess, hopefully, finally. But not only will they be providing a release date for Metroid Prime 4, but they will also be announcing a Metroid Prime 4 Nintendo Direct. Now, this rumor talks about there being 2 Directs in September, so if they're announcing another Direct in this general Direct in September, I assume that's going to be afterwards. Maybe, probably, October, perhaps not too different from how Nintendo announced the Mario Kart World Direct during the big April Switch 2 Direct. If we were to be getting an anniversary Direct for Mario, I'm going to assume that comes first. It would be early in the month, very similar to the 35th anniversary Direct back in 2020. The Direct was in the very beginning, I believe September 3rd, and 2 weeks later, Super Mario 3D All-Stars came out. So if they want something like that to release a September game that has to do with Mario's 40th anniversary, they probably would want to have a September Direct very early in the month, so there's some time, a few weeks, to have that game come out in the thick of the month. And then, after that point, we perhaps get our big general Direct in September, so closer to the end of the month, mid to late. And similar to the Switch 2 Direct, where it happened at the beginning of April, April 2nd, and then 2 weeks later, April 17th, they had the Mario Kart World Direct. 2 weeks after this general Direct, we could have our Prime 4 Direct, which would be in early October, before Pokemon Legends EA comes out October 16th. And then I guess this would suggest that Prime 4 is going to be a November release. But maybe this also ties into Metroid Prime 2 and 3, which we believe are supposed to be coming, and the art book of Metroid Primes 1 through 3 is supposed to be coming out October 28th. So maybe those games come out at the end of October, and then a few weeks later, once people get a chance to play them, try them out, we then get Prime 4, and it would be very similar to the Pikmin 4 situation, where Pikmin 1 and 2 came out a few weeks before Pikmin 4. Now, again, reminder, this is a rumor. While I think Nash Weedle has a good track record, there is no guarantee that this is what's going to happen. However, I will say, Attack the Backlog, friend of the channel, has also said he's heard there are going to be 2 Directs in September. And reminder, we just talked about how Attack the Backlog not only had heard about the partner showcase happening at the end of the month and how he scheduled his own live stream for this presentation a week in advance and was correct about the timing, he had also teased Elliot, The Adventures of Elliot, would be one of the games in the show, and he had even heard they would play like Zelda, which has been a big talking point for this game. And so Attack the Backlog recently has shown some pretty good sourcing for what's going on, and he's hearing similar things to Nash Weedle, so it's a little bit more reason to perhaps think there's something going on here. And nothing about this rumor to me seems really that lofty, because we should be getting some sort of Mario anniversary celebration. As I just talked about, there's already some public evidence out there to support the idea that Nintendo's ramping up their merchandising and overall promotional push of the Mario brand, and so we might be seeing some little things trickle out now, right before Mario's 40th anniversary celebration in September, not too different from how things worked out back in 2020. And Nintendo has some sort of anniversary push every 5 years for Mario. This isn't anything crazy to predict, this is the pattern, and they've been ramping up anniversary pushes for Mario every 5 years. They've been getting bigger and bigger, and with Mario's next movie coming out early next year, it's even more reason to have different things being pushed here leading up to that movie, including the movie. And then also, of course, this is the launch year of Switch 2, so that's something else that could help to really ramp up the overall excitement and hype for Switch 2 and lead to a strong holiday season and early sales next year as well. So it makes plenty of sense to think there's going to be a 40th anniversary celebration of some kind, And to do another Direct, well, if they are doing that, that would show that the prior one was very successful, and Nintendo thinks they should have struck some level of gold here. Now, something I have been wondering though, while I've been very strong in my belief that there's going to be some sort of big 40th anniversary push, I haven't been as certain about there being a Direct, and I've kind of wondered if maybe Nintendo would combine the 40th anniversary announcements with a general Direct and just put it all in one place. This rumor suggests there will be both. And so Nintendo hasn't said that much over this summer, but this relative quiet by Nintendo, because yes, they have still been announcing things, may all be in lead up to a huge September, where they start off with a 40th anniversary Direct, and then the big general, which also, yes, still makes sense because we do not have a release date for Metroid Prime 4. We do not have a release date for Kirby Air Riders, or even gameplay for that matter for that game. We've been hearing different things about Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, even from Nintendo, that seem to suggest the game might actually be coming out this year, but they've only said winter, which does trickle into next year. So when is it coming out? Well, we need a release date for that. That should probably come soon as well. And then also by the end of September every year, Nintendo's also made some additional announcements for the following year. We should be expecting that. And then there's still so many different third-party things, even after the partner showcase, that we've seen ratings for, website listings for, actual teases from official accounts for, that have not been revealed or announced yet, so we need to get that. And then there are even games that have been announced that are supposed to come out this year that still don't have release dates, like Elden Ring, like Final Fantasy VII. So there's absolutely plenty of reason to think that another Direct needs to happen soon that's just about general Nintendo announcements, both first and third party. These things do make sense. Now in the case of Metroid, I could see some people pushing back on this one, but I've been arguing that it makes sense to think that there will be an increased amount of game-specific or series-specific Directs throughout this year, because this is the launch year of Switch 2, where there's a lot more to push, very similar to 2017, where we had 5 different series-specific Nintendo Directs. There was a Fire Emblem Direct, there was an Animal Crossing Mobile Direct, but also for Switch 1 there was a Splatoon 2 Direct, there was a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Direct, and there was an ARMS Direct. And there were still the general Directs, the major presentations, the huge live conference at the beginning of the year. There was just a whole bunch of different presentations from Nintendo throughout the year of 2017, the launch year of Switch 1. I think it's fair to assume that they're going to do something similar throughout this year for Switch 2, and they have been doing so, but we should expect them to continue. So this idea that we're going to get a Mario Anniversary Direct and a general in September, and a Metroid Direct afterwards, I think that falls in line with how Nintendo likely will be operating, at least based off how they handled things in 2017, and also how they've been doing things throughout this year so far, because we have gone both a Mario Kart and Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct. And I'll go a step further. I still think there could be even more Directs beyond the Metroid Prime 4 Direct. If the Metroid Prime 4 Direct comes in October, there's still room for another. Maybe there'll be a Kirby Air Riders Direct, for example. We know Masahiro Sakurai really loved giving his own demonstrations on the different Smash characters throughout the Fighters Pass, and there were also Smash Ultimate Directs before all the different DLC stuff leading up to the actual game's release. Maybe Sakurai, who's working on Kirby Air Riders, might want to do something with that as well that's very similar. It would not totally shock me. But that's me speculating well beyond this rumor. What's rumored is 3 Directs in the not so distant future, 2 in September, and if this is true, this is going to be absolutely huge, and I do think it makes a lot of sense. And me just thinking even more about why this makes sense, we look at what's happening for this month of August. We are getting Dragon Drive, that's about to come out, and then at the end of the month we're getting Kirby the Forgotten Land plus Star-Crossed World. Dragon Drive is a smaller eShop title from Nintendo, and Kirby plus Star-Crossed World is a Switch 2 edition. The level of push for this month is definitely lesser than the month of July or June. It seems like a little bit of a dip, and currently there are no games announced for September. It seems unlikely to me that during this launch year of Switch 2, where we've seen Nintendo really push hard with multiple things in June and July, and they're doing so in August, but it's lesser, I find it hard to believe that they would have nothing in September. I really think that they're saving something here, and the fact that it hasn't been announced yet, I do think it supports the idea that it's going to be something with a very quick turnaround, and the thing that makes the most sense is something relating to Mario's 40th anniversary, very much, pretty much, exactly the way it worked back in 2020 with Mario's 35th anniversary and the 3D All-Stars collection. So I just think this makes a lot of sense. It's exciting, but of course, still a rumor, hasn't been confirmed. Nintendo has proven to be very hard to predict throughout this year. Yes, take it with a grain of salt, but what do you think? Do you think this makes sense? Is this the most likely outcome, or something else going to happen? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andres Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.